All right, let's get right into it. In a world where your next customer, or hey, your biggest competitor, could be halfway across the planet, that old idea of just a domestic market, it's pretty much a thing of the past. Today, we're going to break down why thinking globally isn't just a nice option for growth anymore. It's become a matter of survival. And if you need just one number to hammer this home, here it is: 95%. That's how much of the world's population lives outside the United States. I mean, think about that. To ignore that number is to basically ignore almost all of your potential customers. It's an absolutely staggering figure that changes the entire game. So when we say globalization, what do we really mean? Well, it's not just about, selling some stuff overseas. It's a complete shift in strategy. It means every single decision you make, from where you build your factory to how you run your ads, is based on a worldwide plan. You're constantly looking for the best value at the lowest cost on a global scale. And that leads us to a really crucial change in mindset. The simple fact is, national borders just don't define the limits of business anymore. The entire world is now your potential market. Now this is interesting because it flips the old way of thinking completely on its head. We used to think that going abroad was the risky move. But today, staying purely at home in your own backyard, that's the really dangerous move. Why? Because a competitor from another country can use their massive scale and better tech to come and attack your home market. You just can't afford to be a sitting duck. But, of course, it's not a simple decision, right? Going global is like a strategic tightrope walk. You're balancing these huge potential rewards with some very, very serious risks. So let's break down that trade-off. The reasons to go for it are pretty powerful. For starters, you can find millions of new customers, which is huge if your home market is already tapped out. You can set up shop where labor is cheaper, which can slash your costs. And when you operate on a global scale, you get these efficiencies that your domestic-only rivals can only dream about. But the dangers? They are just as real. Political chaos could lead to your entire operation getting seized. You're suddenly facing this maze of different laws, cultural norms, and languages you don't understand. Currency swings can literally wipe out your profits overnight. And it is so easy to underestimate how tough the local competitors are on their home turf. This whole risk versus reward thing leads to this constant strategic tug of war, which you can see perfectly in the ideas of outsourcing and reshoring. Companies move work abroad, they outsource to cut costs. But then sometimes they bring it all back home, they reshore, because they want better quality control or want to get their products to market faster. It's a constant balancing act. Okay, so beyond the logistics and the spreadsheets, there's the human element. And let me tell you, this is often the hardest part: cracking the culture code. This quote just cuts right to the chase. It's how foreign managers often see their American counterparts. That focus on being on time and getting straight to business, it can come across as cold or even rude in cultures where you're supposed to build a personal relationship first. This isn't a tiny detail. It can absolutely make or break a deal. And the mistakes you can make, they can be shockingly simple. You flash the OK sign in Brazil, thinking you're saying everything's great, but you've actually just given them the middle finger. Imagine the damage you could do without even knowing it. Or think about something as basic as eye contact. In the US, it means you're being honest and confident. But in Japan, that same direct stare can feel aggressive and disrespectful. The exact same action has the complete opposite meaning. It even comes down to how you sit. You casually cross your legs in a meeting and show the sole of your shoe? In many Arab cultures, that's a serious insult. These aren't just little quirks to memorize. They're the fundamental rules for building trust. And you see, it goes so much deeper than just hand gestures. Take the Japanese concept of wa. It's this core cultural value that puts group harmony above everything else. So decisions aren't just about what makes the most money, they're about what keeps the team together and in sync. That fundamentally changes how you negotiate, how you run a meeting, everything. So with all this complexity, how in the world do you decide where to go? Well, you turn to the data. You start mapping the world not by geography, but by opportunity. And this chart tells a huge story. Just look at these corporate tax rates from a few years back. The difference between setting up in France at over 33% versus Bermuda at 0, that's massive. It's no wonder that companies make huge strategic choices about where to put their headquarters based on numbers just like these. It's a really powerful incentive. But hey, it's not just about taxes. It's also about how easy it is to actually run a business. This table shows you the best-ranked countries for ease of doing business in different parts of the world. And what this tells us is that opportunity is everywhere. Whether you're looking at Latin America with Mexico or Sub-Saharan Africa with Mauritius, there are clear leaders that have made themselves really attractive places to work.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from market size and cultural traps to tax data. So how do we pull this all together into something you can actually use? Let's build your global playbook.
It really comes down to these 4 steps. First, you've got to let that 95% number sink in and really see the entire world as your stage. Second, be a stone-cold strategist. Weigh the incredible upsides against the very real dangers. Third, treat cultural know-how like a core skill, not some soft, fuzzy extra. And finally, use the data, taxes, talent, business climate, to make smart, informed choices about where you're going to place your bets.
And that brings us to our final thought. We've seen the opportunities, we've seen the threats. But in a world this connected, where your next big competitor can pop up from literally anywhere, maybe the whole conversation needs to change. Maybe the biggest gamble a business can take today isn't going global, but choosing not to.